Steve here.
And Larson.
Yeah, welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever fine podcasts can be found. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, notify bell next to it if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're listening to us in the audio realm, be sure to leave us a rating, a review, or a comment. It really does help boost the exposure of the show. Of course, this is Saturday, so it's Countout Day.
Yeah.
Countout
Day.
And we got a pretty good reception 2 weeks ago when we did our last Countout on the top
best worst wrestlers.
The best worst wrestlers.
Featuring a lot of going in raw math. That's why I have the papers in my hands, because we're going to do something similar today.
Good.
Opposite of that, worst best wrestlers. So these are wrestlers who are adept in the ring, talented.
In-ring technicians.
You could say wrestlers beyond compare.
However,
lacking a bit in either the charisma or the promo department or both.
Look, man. Well, pro wrestlers, they need to have a variety of ingredients, like any well-made dish. You need to be a skilled in-ring technician, but you also, in order to be a really, truly great professional wrestler, you need to have the theatrics, the charisma, the look. Very important part of the process.
Promo abilities.
The promo abilities.
Promo abilities.
No, just call it promo abilities.
Promo abilities.
There you go. Just made up a new word here in Countout.
I guess so.
All right. And some wrestlers, like we saw 2 weeks ago, have one of them down. They have maybe the promo ability down,
or the charisma,
look, the charisma.
Look. But in that case, many, if not all of them, were completely lacking in the in-ring performance aspect.
This week,
these are all great technical wrestlers.
Yeah, man.
Every single one of them. So being on this list is not a slight.
No.
If you're on this list, you're a great wrestler.
You're a great in-ring competitor. I can sit there and just watch your match and be like, whoa, that was awesome.
Yeah.
But then as soon as you get on that microphone, as soon as you dive into a story, I don't care a lick about you.
Well, that's not the case for all of these. Some of these talents were involved in some good stories.
Yeah.
But more so just the microphone aspect.
But here's the funny thing about the people in these. So I can look at one, two, a couple of them that, yes, were involved in decent stories, but either the stories, we'll just go through.
I think I know what you're
we'll
trying
go
to say,
through
whether
it.
or not the participants,
the
on
weakest
this list.
parts of the actual stories.
Yes,
I think that's usually the case here.
I think I understand what you're saying. Yes.
All right.
Let's get started. Number 10.
Number 10.
10.
Brock Lesnar.
Here's the thing about Brock. I think he could be a good promo.
Yeah,
it's an effort issue with Brock.
He was a lot of fun to watch back before he was with Heyman. When he was like feuding with Eddie Guerrero, for example. I mean, granted, his first run with WWE wasn't that long, but he had some fun stuff. He had some fun interactions with Kurt Angle. Of course, with Eddie Guerrero when he came out with the sombrero and the mariachi band. He was actually a lot of fun.
Some of his best promo work's been the UFC.
That is true.
His
also,
post-fight interviews are generally pretty good. There are times, even in his most current run with WWE, where, like that part with Heath Slater, where he said he didn't give a shit about his kids. That was good.
Here's the crazy thing about Brock. It's almost as if for him to say something, he has to. And when he has to do something, he doesn't like to do it. So when he's the guy who tells Heath Slater, I don't give a shit about your kids, you're terrified. That's scary when he does that. When he drops the smile that he always has on his face when Paul Heyman's talking and he says something, it's terrifying. But he never does it.
Very rarely.
He almost never does it.
Yeah. And these days, it's an effort issue. When he wants to put on a good match, he's still capable of putting on a very good match.
Yeah.
He's still a very capable storyteller in the ring when he wants to.
Yeah.
In this first WWE run, he was putting on a lot of really good matches.
Yeah, sure.
And it's still there. Just depends on the effort.
Yeah, and that's kind of a lot. If you're gonna snooze your way through 60% of your, like, you can have a genius 30% of a run, but if 70% of it, you like my math there? If 70% of it is like just sort of snoozing your way through it, which I kind of feel is Brock, then you're gonna get marked down. You're gonna end up on this list.
Yeah.
And who wants to end up on this list?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. He has all the ingredients to not be on this list.
We've done math on Brock Lesnar, but for the purpose of this count out,
in case people
we're gonna do it again.
It probably won't be the same anyways.
Our like when we've done math, it's been kind of spread out over a lot of different things.
Yeah, exactly. And I have apart from these, what we've done for these countouts, I have no notes as far as what the numbers are in terms of what wrestler.
What was the very first time we busted out the math?
No idea. Anyways, Brock Lesnar in ring. Again, he can be probably an 8 or 9.
It was only last month.
Yeah,
because it was part of the best of stuff.
At the most, he could be an 8 or a 9 for in-ring.
Matt chat.
Maybe.
Yeah.
8 or 9. But since he phones in a lot, I'm going to say 6.
Oh, what is his in-ring?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say 6 too. Yeah.
Because he can be a 9.
Yeah.
Promo. Again, I think he could be a 5.
But he's a 3. Because he never really talks.
Look. He looks great.
He's like a 9.
That's a 9 look.
Might be. Do you want to give him a 10 for look? Because, God, who looks better than him as a pro wrestler?
Yeah, he looks pretty legit.
Yeah, that dude looks so legit. He's terrifying.
Legacy. He's got a pretty strong legacy.
He's got a strong legacy.
7 or 8.
So I'd say it's a 7. You know what? I'd actually maybe go 6 legacy.
Why?
You know why? Because for the last 4 years, for this entire run, it's basically been defined by his part-time work.
All right.
And I think that's a stain.
Kayfabe. At least an 8.
Oh, 9. Come on. They're literally grooming. Like, he took Undertaker's streak.
Yeah, it's true. 7. Exactly. He's a 7 wrestler.
That sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
Hampered by his own his own desire to be a part-time wrestler.
Well, I think is his actual passion for the industry.
If you're gonna,
I just don't know if it's there.
If you're gonna be okay with simply calling it a paycheck, that's gonna take away from your wrestler math.
Yep. He has all the ingredients to be at least a 8+ wrestler.
He's like Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
If he had put his mind to it, if he had really given a damn rather, Shaq could have been a 10 basketball player.
Yeah.
Man, he could have been all time. He could have been like just killing everybody from day one.
Yeah.
But by his own admission, Shaquille O'Neal, 7 wrestler.
Oh, I'd say Shaq's at least an 8 basketball player.
Yeah. Oh, you think so?
Yeah. I mean, even
he slept his way to an 8.
Yeah, because even when he slept his way to an 8, he was still the most dominant player on the court.
Dominant.
When he was with the Lakers.
Dominant.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, but dude, come on. If he had given a crap, he could have worked on his free throws.
Oh, he could have been a 10 totally.
Yeah, he could have been a 10.
But still, even as an 8, he dominated the league.
What do you think Shaq is as a wrestler?
I mean, his promo abilities would be up there.
Yeah.
He's got a great look.
In-ring is terrible. Look is great.
Yeah.
Legacy, not great.
Well, it's non-existent. He hasn't wrestled really.
Pretty much.
He was in the one Andre Rumble.
Like a 3 wrestler.
Yeah, something like that.
That's good for a guy who hasn't.
He's actually literally been in one match.
Right.
All right, moving on. Number 9.
Oh yeah. Number 9.
9.
Dynamite Kid.
Bret Hart said he's like the best wrestler ever.
Yeah.
And we may be critical of Bret in certain aspects, but the aspect we're least critical of him is his in-ring ability. I feel like Bret Hart knows a good wrestler when he's around a good wrestler. He's had some classic matches.
Bret Hart doesn't like to give compliments to anybody.
Basically, no.
Yeah, he loves spreading out detriment,
criticism. Yeah, but he loves Dynamite Kid. He had a series, I believe, of matches against Dynamite Kid and Stampede Wrestling that some of them were saying at the time were some of the best matches ever.
Well, wasn't Dynamite Kid the guy who his work in Japan sort of spurred the first real big push for tape trading?
Yeah, it was his feud with the Tiger Mask, yeah.
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 And people were like, oh, my God, this guy is crazy good. And then people started emulating him.
Yeah.
And so his legacy, in terms of juniors anyways, cruiserweights,
is
off the charts.
Yeah, it really is.
It's great. But if you ever watch the guy talk, he just sounds like your average, normal, working-class British dude.
Yeah, he's not bad on the mic.
No, he's not bad. It's just there's no charisma, nothing special.
Yeah.
He could talk, but it's like you look at him and he's like I always forget what the dude looks like. Because I'm like, wait, who's that guy again? Oh, yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
But he's got everything about his presence is nondescript. It's the most charismatic thing he ever said had to do with a shotgun and his wife.
Oof.
In that documentary.
Well, I don't know if his charismatic was memorable.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Charismatic, I don't know.
You remember it.
Yeah, so that's what makes it memorable.
Look, charisma isn't always a good thing. Look at Ted Bundy.
Yeah, I know.
Lots of most serial killers are very careful. There was that one serial killer who was on The Dating Game.
Yeah.
Did he win? I think he won it too, didn't he?
Maybe.
Scary.
It is scary. Yeah. Anyways, heck of a wrestler, Dynamite Kid. Especially before.
I wonder what kind of promo Zodiac was.
Probably not very good.
Yeah.
Based on just the letters. His use of the language wasn't that great.
No, it wasn't. Better than getting my rocks off with a girl.
I mean, that's a very certain particular vernacular of the day, though.
Yeah,
no one says get rocks off anymore,
Better than smash.
Exactly. See what I mean?
Anyways,
especially before he got Dynamite Kid, before he got super bulked up and then hurt his back. He was super athletic, doing stuff that most people weren't doing during that day.
Fantastic.
Highly influential wrestler.
Yeah.
As a promo guy, middle of the road at best.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of funny when you watch his promos, you see a guy who, wow, technically speaking, you know how to talk, but like, I don't care about anything coming out of your mouth. And I'm like a huge fan of British people. And even I'm saying that. I'm like,
we watched one today before we started, where he was cutting a promo. I think it was in NWA Pacific Northwest or something. He was cutting a promo on Kurt Hennig, and he was just saying, he said I murdered Kurt Hennig.
Yeah,
he said I'm gonna rip people limb from limb. This is pretty basic stuff.
Well, okay, here's the difference. It's one of those things that there's literally, I don't even understand. Nobody can really put a finger on what the hell charisma is, the it factor.
Well, it's ineffable. That's why it's such a magical thing when someone's highly charismatic.
Kurt
Hennig could be a magical thing. Yes,
Kurt Hennig can look in the camera and joke around.
At WrestleMania 9, he looked in the camera and botched his promo, and it was still endlessly charming because he oozes charisma.
Exactly. Dynamite Kid.
He talks, and he's trying to advance the story, and he could do that capably. However, you're not sucked into it.
Yeah. And it's no fault of his own.
Not at all. And I think like this one I referenced, he was just saying pretty basic tough guy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to rip your arms off and beat you with them.
Yeah.
It's not creative.
It's kind of like...
Nothing draws you in.
I kind of liken it a little bit to Sheamus.
Uh-huh.
Like, that's why Sheamus, I never really perceived him as, regardless of the fact that his song was at one time my ringtone, I never perceived him as like top guy the way apparently Triple H and Vince did, because
nothing he did sucked you into his performance.
The dude actually has some charisma, but he doesn't have enough.
Yeah,
doesn't have enough.
Yeah.
So what's his math?
Dynamite Kid in ring, I'd say 8.
8, sure.
Promo
2.
Look 4.
Yeah, 4. Nothing special about his look.
Legacy, that's pretty. Legacy's pretty high. At least
I'd give him like a 7 because it's for a very specific thing.
Yeah, and then his latter years.
Oh yeah, you can't be talking about a shotgun in your wife.
His legacy a bit.
Oh, I'd give him probably a 6 now that you think about it.
Yeah,
because it's really high for cruiserweights.
Yeah,
and then it also you have to knock some down for him talking about
threatening to murder his.
And then he just looked terrible, he was all roided up and stuff, and looked terrible afterwards.
Kayfabe, like in WWF, the Bulldogs were an immensely popular tag team, but they didn't really. I think they won the titles once.
Well, if you take a look at literally the other Bulldog, that guy was Kayfabe. His was pretty high.
Yeah, relatively.
But like Dynamite Kid, I don't remember him.
Not in WWF, no. He just he's a one-type tag champion. I don't think. But like in New Japan, he won some belts. So we'll say
5,
6,
5.
So 14, that's 4 plus. That's 5.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
It might be a little on the low side, but.
Yeah. Well, the math doesn't lie, dude. So
I guess not.
Can't really say that.
I guess not.
Number 8.
8.
Ricky Steamboat.
Talk about an awesome in-ring talent.
Oh, man. Terrific.
Even was at WrestleMania when he had that match with Jericho at WrestleMania, at 20-something?
Yeah.
And he was incredible.
Oh, my gosh.
This guy can go in the ring.
That was messed up, though, like afterwards, how he got like his brain messed up or something like that.
He had cerebral hemorrhaging on his brain. I guess it bled so much that his brain split in half.
That dude, oh, man.
Even on Raw, for Flair's birthday, he was out doling chopped Seth Rollins in the throat.
Just a terrific.
It was a great worked chop to the throat.
Here's the thing about Steamboat, though. From the very first promo you can find on internet to his very last promo, that dude always gave off suburban dad vibe, no matter what. He has a very, very, very kind face. Mm-hmm. Like he's just a really, really good dad. Mm-hmm. But like most really, really good dads, there's nothing charisma. There's a little bit of an edge. You got a little bit of an edge to you if you got some charisma. You could turn. There's zero edge to that guy. And then I know this is no fault of his own, but
they packed him as a literal dragon.
As an actual dragon, that costume's terrible.
It was pretty bad.
So that didn't do him any favors, but in the first place, like watch any promo, you do not care. There's no edge there. There's nothing that really grabs you. It's not until he steps in the ring
and you realize he's incredible.
He's incredible.
His match against Savage at WrestleMania 3, incredible. His series of matches against Ric Flair.
Oh my God.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible match after incredible match.
Yeah. Just one after the other.
An outstanding in-ring talent. Just in the promo department comes up a little bit short.
You just don't care. Like, he talks, and it's like, man. And the funny thing is, I know the WWE, I think they were pretty high on his son, because he was one of the featured attractions in early NXT until he messed himself up. Richie, and he had to retire. But, like, I remember watching some of his promos from NXT, I think, and it was kind of the same thing. It was just like, man, I know why the WWE's high on this guy. He's a good-looking kid. Same with Steamboat. He's a good-looking guy. But, man, when he talks to you at the camera, just it doesn't capture anything. It just sort of falls flat. So, but, man, nothing to take away from his in-ring ability. It's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Let's get down to it then. In-ring. At least an 8.
An 8? Absolutely an 8.
Promo.
3, dude. 3. I mean, he knows how to talk, and that gets you to a 3.
Yeah. Look. Like the dragon outfit wasn't necessarily his fault, but it's corny.
But it's part of his thing.
I know.
He moved around a lot too.
Yeah, he did.
I think didn't WWE...
He left WWE because they wouldn't give him time off to go be a dad.
Yeah, that's right.
So he left.
Yeah.
So hats off to him for that.
Yeah. So look, I mean, like I said, he's a good-looking guy, but nothing about him is really distinctive.
So it's 4 or 5.
I'll give him a 4.
Legacy.
I'm not in a generous mood today.
No, you're not. Legacy.
It's a decent legacy. 6. I'd say it's like, okay, I'll give you 6. I'll be generous there.
Kayfabe. I mean, he did win the NWA title. He's a WWE Intercontinental Champion. He won some belts.
Who won in that Steamboat Savage match?
Steamboat.
Steamboat won that match? Mm-hmm. Was that for the IC title?
Mm-hmm.
Give him a 6.
6
kayfabe.
6 kayfabe. So that's 5. That's 5+.
Boy, I feel like it should be higher. But at the end of the day, you need a good look and you need a promo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that'll get you there.
It will. It goes a long way, man.
Number 7. Jerry Lynn.
He had a series of really awesome matches against RVD back in ECW.
He seemed to be kind of the heir apparent to RVD.
You know, he was like it's simultaneously RVD's contemporary in ECW in terms of doing high flying, kind of extreme high flying stuff in ECW.
Yeah.
But then also, it seemed like, should RVD ever step up either beyond ECW or step up into the heavyweight title scene in ECW, Jerry Lynn was there to hold down the TV title scene.
RVD, did he stick around ECW till the end? I want to say, wasn't there a period of time towards the very end when RVD wasn't there and all the matches that you knew were supposed to go to RVD went to Jerry Lynn?
Yeah, but I think RVD was hurt.
Oh, okay.
Because he had that TV title for like 2 years and he broke his ankle.
Yeah, and didn't Jerry Lynn take the TV title thing? Like, that was like the title that people would always just, there's like the strong, super strong workers, kind of. Jerry Lynn. Not Jerry Lynn, Jerry Lynn.
Jerry Lynn.
I'm going to look up RVD for that matter. Because, no, you're probably right. He's probably injured. But I do distinctly remember.
Actually, Jerry Lynn never had the TV title.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
RVD had it until March 2000 when he was hurt. And then Super Crazy defeated Rhino in the tournament final. But Jerry Lynn never had the TV title. Yeah, Rob Van Dam had it for 700 days. From April 98 to March 2000.
Oh, man. Van Dam suffered a broken ankle January 29th.
And he debuted in the WWE in 2001, it looks like.
So he was only out 5 months for the broken ankle?
So, yeah, he stuck around ECW to the very end.
I guess so, huh? Wow. Well, I don't know. I'm going by my memory, which is admittedly terrible. I do kind of remember when Jerry Lynn came up and he was just sort of doing all the workhorse matches.
Yeah.
That seemed to previously...
because he was a great worker.
Yeah, he was a fantastic worker. And those previously were going to RVD. But yeah, they had like an extensive feud, didn't they?
Yeah, they had several matches.
An extensive series anyways.
Yeah, they had several matches.
But then when you look... The thing about RVD was that his charisma was like next level. Like, talk about a guy who didn't have to say much, but you take one look at him and he looks at you and you're like, oh, man, I'm all on board with this guy. Like, his charisma really, like, on top of the fact that he was just a terrific worker, RVD's charisma was so next level that people just loved him. Jerry Lynn probably could have had that, but, man, there's, like, no charisma going on there. And like his promos, you just don't remember anything. Go ahead.
Jerry Lynn did win the ECW World Heavyweight Championship in 2000 from Just Incredible. Held it for a month before losing it to Steve Corino, I believe.
Okay.
And he did actually beat, apparently, at Living Dangerously 99, beat RVD for the TV title. But he was awarded the belt, I guess, by referee decision at the time as time expired. But he asked for a 5-minute extension, and then he lost during overtime, essentially.
Bummer.
So, but yeah, he was a heck of a wrestler, man.
Oh yeah, no, he was absolutely terrific.
I mean, he was I think former light heavyweight champion in WWE. Yeah, he was in their ECW, I think, too, for a little bit.
Oh, really?
I thought so. He was TNA, Ring of Honor. TNA.
Didn't he just recently have...
I guess he wasn't there.
Didn't he just recently have a match, like some sort of retirement thing or something like that?
He just had hip surgery not that long ago.
Oh, really?
He refereed the Cody Rhodes, Nick Aldis match.
That's right. And people were singing his praises there. He's one of those guys where I think he probably has more charisma now that he's old than he did when he was young.
I think so. I wouldn't be surprised by that at all.
Let's see here.
He's a highly decorated champ, though. He's won a lot of belts all over the place.
Yeah. Well, he's one of those guys, you can never get enough good workers, you know? If you got a guy who can just really go in the ring, that's going to be rewarded most of the time, unless you're like a dickhead.
He's a former Ring of Honor world champion.
Wow. What year was that?
I don't know. 2-time X Division champion. So, yeah, he was still going strong in the early aughts. So that's cool.
Oh, it's Supercard of Honor 4.
Defeated Nigel McGuinness.
Yeah. Then he lost it to Little Austin Aries. Cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, let's do some Jerry Lynn math. In ring.
All right. Oh, man.
7 or 8?
It's 8, for sure 8.
Promo.
Again, just like...
He had a good husky growl when he wanted to. We watched that one promo from WWE New York.
Yeah.
Judgment Day.
Even when he did that, it was like, I just know you're trying too hard. 3.
Look.
It was a very normal look.
4 or 3?
4. And that's being generous.
Legacy.
So it's like good.
It's like 5.
It's 5, yeah. I mean, if you have a 5 legacy, you should be happy.
Yeah. Kayfabe, 5-ish. He won some titles.
Yeah, okay, 5.
Although being a Ring of Honor world champ and ECW champ, it's something.
He was ECW champ for like a month.
Yeah,
during their
kind of leaner days.
During their desperate days.
Let's say 5. 5 on the dot.
All right. I mean, here's the thing. I really like Jerry Lynn.
I do too.
So I want that to be higher, but I'm not going to argue with the math.
I know. Every one of these, save for Brock's, I'm like, I feel like this should be higher, but I look at it and I'm like, I don't see anything worth we could change.
There's nothing in the math that warrants it, man.
Math doesn't lie.
It definitely doesn't.
This math is going to be a great disappointment to a good many people who are fans of these wrestlers.
I know.
And I like Ricky Steamboat a lot.
Yes.
I didn't even want to put him on here.
Yeah.
At all.
But you can't argue with it.
It's hard to argue with it.
Number 6.
We're talking about arguments. 6.
Oh, no. Bret Hart.
I love that picture so much.
Why?
It's like Maximum Bret. He's got his jacket on. He's looking super intense, super serious.
It's not just his jacket. It's a jacket with the tassels.
And here's the thing. There's nothing ironic, tongue-in-cheek in any way about this. This is 100% serious Bret Hart right there.
Him in all his glory.
And that's Bret Hart in a nutshell. He takes himself more seriously than maybe any pro wrestler since the 1970s.
Yeah, but he's been screwed over a lot.
I understand. But, if he hadn't maybe taken himself so seriously, maybe he'd find things to laugh about.
Yeah, maybe. I've never seen him laugh before.
I haven't either.
You see him laugh.
Mirthless. That's what he seems like.
He does. We need to get him to laugh. Dude.
Yeah.
Maybe Tim Spulak can get him to laugh.
There you go.
Say, Bret.
Like a real laugh, not just...
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Not just a little guffaw. A real laugh. A good, hearty laugh.
I feel like if you try to tell him something that, he would just get... So if he said something like, hey, I hear that, I don't know. I feel like if you tell him a joke, he's just going to get mad.
I know.
And that's kind of why he's on this list. Because, yes, one of the greatest in-ring technical wrestlers of all time. He's like a walking dream match, obviously.
In his own estimation, as close as 10 as you get.
Right. But, man, that dude is a bummer.
He is a bummer. And he could, communicate when he needed to on the microphone.
Yeah.
But you never got sucked into his promos.
I feel like let me ask you something.
What?
Whose promo would you get sucked in more, Bret or Sid?
Oh, Sid.
You think so?
Easily.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Sid created a world for you, man.
What he was ruler of.
Master and ruler of said world. But he would create a world. I'm not saying Sid was a great promo because he wasn't.
Look at Bret's name. It's so small here.
But of all his skills, such as they are, for Sid, his promo ability was tops among them.
No, the way he looked and sweated was his tops. That's what he brought
delivered
to the
a great
table.
fist bump, too.
He did.
There's so much intensity in his fist bump.
It was what Sid brought to the table was height and
musculature,
sweat,
vascularity, and sweat.
And yeah,
he could seethe.
And his hair was great.
Yeah,
curly blonde hair.
Yeah, Sid's look.
Let's talk about Bret Hart. We're talking about Bret Hart.
Yeah. So I mean,
this is why Bret Hart's on this list, because he just sort of acts as a springboard to talk about other wrestlers we like more.
Yeah, who were better in other facets than he was.
Yeah, it is bizarre to me though. It is kind of bizarre to me. I mean, maybe it's just a total European thing. I don't know. But it is kind of bizarre.
On the Pritchard podcast where they said that he was over huge in Europe, right?
Out of everybody to choose in that was coming up sort of new generation-ish, right? They rolled with Bret. He was a tag team guy. Granted, he was, and I know that was one of the more interesting things in the Pritchard project. He was like, why Bret? He said, well, we needed a guy who didn't look like he was on steroids. And that was very interesting.
Yeah.
It's like we had to deflect the steroid thing.
Yeah, no.
So I don't know, would Bret have had that run had he not been, had the steroids thing not happened?
Let me ask you this then. Who is, if you had to find a Bret Hart that's wrestling today, who'd be the closest comparison in your mind?
Okay, so are we talking about the lack of charisma as well?
Across the board.
I mean, Zack Sabre Jr. But that dude's
Zack Sabre Jr.'s got way more charisma than Bret Hart does.
Well, no, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I thought you meant, okay.
No, across the board.
Okay.
In terms of technical ability, promo ability, charisma. Is it Cesaro?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was going to say that. Cesaro. Oh, you know what? When somebody brought this up in our Patreon chat today. If you call him a face, it's easily Roderick Strong.
Yeah.
Roderick Strong as a heel is so good.
Yeah.
Because he's got sort of a frat boy thing. And when he's with the Undisputed Era, when he's a face,
pretty bland.
If you watch those that little docu-series about him being a family guy, I don't care one bit. But I can watch him in the ring all day long. It's Roderick Strong.
Yeah. Face Roderick Strong.
Sorry, face Roderick Strong. Yeah.
Heel Roderick Strong's really good.
Oh, he's so much fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even like heel Bret, like I didn't care about him.
No.
You know.
It was just the bitter just came to the fore more so when he was heel Bret.
Yeah.
And that was even before the screw job.
But kids loved him, so he had to have something. That's one thing I don't get, is that people swear by him, and I don't understand. Like the charisma just wasn't there. Like,
no, it wasn't there.
Usually, like with Hogan, I kind of get it, like why kids loved him, because he was like a weird giant leather.
Well, he was
charisma
giant,
guy.
and full of muscles, yeah.
And he had like the bulging eyes.
And he screamed and stuff,
and like he translated through the camera too.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
he did. I know for you personally,
in a very '80s kind of way, he did.
Well, yeah, but it was the '80s.
Yeah.
But Bret, I don't get it.
I mean, the coolest thing about Bret were those sunglasses, I guess. He used to give them to kids, so I guess the kids liked him, thinking maybe Bret will give me the glasses.
That could be.
They just wanted the cool glasses.
Yeah.
And they're reflective, so literally they saw themselves in his glasses.
He had a cool entrance too.
Yeah.
Where the camera guy would go running up to him as if he was late.
This theme song's not terrible.
Yeah, it's cool. I do like the combination of pink and black.
Yeah, it's a good look.
You know, but when he talks to you, it's just you understand this guy would rather be doing anything else. That's what it feels like.
By his own admission, his weakest skill set was on the mic, but still 6 or 8 out of 10.
He gave him a 6 or 8.
We're not going to be as generous, however.
No, we're not. Oh man,
you want to get down to it, Bret Hart?
Let's do Bret Hart.
I know we've done Bret before. In ring, 8.
Oh yeah, 8.
8.
I know he thinks he's as close to a 10 out of 10.
No, he's an 8,
You've actually watched some of his matches and picked him apart a little bit. You've been like, he should have been doing this instead of this.
Yeah, there was a couple times I did that. Also, I feel like he's a really good seller.
Yeah.
He's a great seller. His moveset's not that varied.
Should we give him a 9 because he was also the guy to put the matches together? And maybe the times when something didn't go the way you thought it should.
But is that just him taking credit for stuff that he didn't really do? 8's fair, I think.
All right.
8's fair.
All right.
Promo.
4.
Wow.
I mean, 5 would be average, and we're saying the guy's a below average promo.
Look. 5.
Well, he didn't look like he was on steroids, and I do like pink and black color scheme.
All right.
So yeah, 5.
5.
But how tall was he? 6 feet?
He was like 6 feet tall.
Nah, when you're my height, you're not jumping up that scale for look, dude.
Legacy. People seem to really like him.
I'd give him like a 7 legacy.
Yeah. Kayfabe. He won a lot. 7.
Yeah, he won a ton. 7.
So that's 6 plus 20. 6 plus, almost a 7.
Yeah, I remember that. That's what we got with him before.
6 plus.
It's consistent.
Fair.
The math is consistent.
And it has yet to really lead us astray.
Right. Yeah.
Because you think the upper echelon for pro wrestlers starts at 7.5 and up?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Bret just seems like just a little bit below that.
Look, we've done Stone Cold, we've done The Rock. The Rock and Stone Cold are both
7 plus.
7 plus?
Yeah.
It's not until you get to like Macho Man where you're in the 8.
And then Cena's a 9.
Oh, Cena's the gold standard. The gold standard, and you cannot deny that.
I think you give him too much credit for his look. I think his look should be way lower. I actually think Cena should be in Macho Man territory. But anyways, move on.
Well,
Number 5.
That's not the math. Math says. Number 5.
5.
Ken Shamrock. This guy could have been huge.
Remember he used to do that?
Oh, I remember. I think he's doing that right here on that picture.
Yeah, that's why I did it.
Yeah. He also did it at the ring steps.
Yeah.
You can do it one more time.
No, I'm done.
Okay.
We got a lot more talking to do.
All right. So Ken Shamrock.
See, he's got the look, jacked. He's got intensity all over his face. He had the pedigree. He was a well-decorated mixed martial artist, not only in UFC. He was in Pancrase, where he lost Minoru Suzuki.
Well, he has legitimacy.
And that, too. That was the third aspect of it.
Yeah. Couldn't talk a lick, and his face was kind of weird.
Well, it looked like it'd been beat up, which it had been. He had the face of someone that had been in a lot of fights and been beat up.
That's true. Funny thing about Ken Shamrock is I wonder if it's the same sort of thing as Brock Lesnar. When you go in there as a pro wrestler, maybe you think dialogue and scenes in pro wrestling is kind of an unnatural thing.
Yeah.
When you're being interviewed by Joe Rogan after a match, that's a natural thing.
Yeah.
He's asking you a question, you answer it.
And also in UFC, I'm sure you're not encumbered by the restraints you are in pro wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about scripts.
Because I feel like Shamrock would be a really good promo now.
Maybe.
Because he's old.
Maybe.
And older always adds more.
Experience helps.
Yeah. But back then, he had everything except for... And he also had the weird, almost like Sid-like charisma, where he'd look in the camera and you'd be like, am I seeing something? Am I not seeing something? Mm-hmm. Is there an overabundance of something?
But unlike Sid would talk and it would like maybe reaffirm there's something there. But Ken... It just seemed like he was just wholly uncomfortable speaking into a microphone in front of crowds.
It did, yeah.
It was just not his thing.
Yeah.
Why they didn't put him with a manager early on. Imagine what if he came along 5 years later and you put him in Lesnar's spot with Heyman.
Yeah, I know.
That could have been something else.
Here's the thing about Ken. You're right about that. Here's the thing about Ken Shamrock. He never realized, or they didn't realize, that with him, less would have been more. Because you don't go out there and go, ah! You go out there and you don't say a word, and you freak people out.
Yeah.
You know? And then you just tap them out really quick.
Yeah.
You know?
Ice in the veins.
Yeah, that's what you do with him. But instead, he got bug-eyed and went,
He's the world's most dangerous man.
Yeah, which is a great line.
But then he goes out there and screams, and he's capable of putting on good matches.
On top of that, he was also kind of hampered by his booking.
Yeah.
He was booked strong, but he never came out on top, I feel. Like, I know he won the IC title. He probably won some of those weird, goofy submission matches where it's either in the dungeon or the octagon, the Lion's Den, whatever it was. Like, he always came out in those matches, but like anybody could beat Owen Hart. Anybody could beat, I don't know. Who else was always in that mix? Dan Severn.
Beat The Rock.
Yeah, but like even with The Rock, they were protecting The Rock.
Yeah, I know.
Like, and it was always obvious that they were protecting everybody else but Shamrock, because Shamrock had just enough intensity that they could get away with him getting like these cheat losses, you know?
Yeah.
Like he would lose, but it was because somebody else would cheat.
And also they do the thing with him where he debuted as a face and he turned heel and face and heel again, and it was I don't know, did him no favors.
You know that's when they've lost faith in the guy.
Yeah.
When they started doing that stuff.
And he was a 98 King of the Ring. Won the Intercontinental Championship in 98.
Who was 97 King of the Ring?
That was
Triple H?
96 was Stone Cold.
Stone Cold. Was 97 Triple H?
Maybe. Or was that later? Who's 97? 97 was, Triple H.
Here comes Triple H.
And then Shamrock and Billy Gunn, then Kurt Angle and Edge, and Brock Lesnar.
Billy Gunn. He was a decent wrestler, but again, that was a guy. He could have been on this list, maybe.
Yeah, I thought about him.
If he was a more iconic in-ring technician.
Yeah, exactly. He was just a crazy athletic guy for his size.
He was just super athletic. Yeah. Anyways, Ken Shamrock. Let's do some math on Ken Shamrock.
In-ring, 6. He was good. But I feel like if they had focused on his MMA experience more and utilized that aspect of his arsenal far more than they did, he could have been a much better wrestler, in-ring wrestler.
Yeah, I don't recall him putting on any stinkers. I mean,
he was a decent wrestler.
I'd say between 5 and 6. If you want to go to 6, I have no problem with that.
Promo is like a 2 or 4 or 1.
Give him a 1.
He was not a good promo.
He was a terrible promo.
Look, he was jacked. He looked legit.
He looked like he got beat up a lot. 5.
I'm gonna say 4.
Oh wow, okay, I'm down with 4.
All right. Legacy. I mean, he was one of the first guys to really cross over from MMA to the pro wrestling stuff.
Yeah, people like Shamrock, but I mean, can
5.
you really go higher than a 5? Yeah, it's a 5.
Kayfabe, I don't know, 4.
Yeah.
They should have booked him way stronger than what they did.
They should have. I think they could have gone a long way with him. He's a guy, I've actually thought this before. He could have maybe not.
4+.
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking about him as an MMA fighter, it'd probably be a lot higher.
Oh, way higher, yeah.
Way higher.
Yeah, he's iconic in terms of mixed martial arts.
But in terms of pro wrestling, 4+.
Yeah, 4+.
Seems low, but I'm not going to argue with the math.
No, I can't think of anything on here to change.
I mean, what happens if you put kayfabe at 5? Because he was IC champion. He was king of the ring.
Still 4+.
Okay, well, he's 4+ then. It's the look in the promo that really hampers him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fair enough.
And I think like I said, if they'd adopted more of his MMA style into his wrestling skills, made him more of a like a chain wrestler, mat technician.
If Shamrock had come around in '93, he could have been huge.
Or if Shamrock had come around in 2011.
Could you imagine if they were trying to get rid of the steroid thing, right? Mm-hmm. They looked at if MMA had started like 5 years earlier, if UFC wasn't so weird. If Shamrock
if you're looking to find a guy who doesn't look like he's on steroids, I don't think Ken Shamrock could be that guy though. He was massive.
Massive. He was. What are you talking about?
He wasn't tall, but he was jacked.
That looks natural.
I'm not saying he was on the juice at all.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that he was jacked. His arms were big.
Yeah, but he didn't look like steroids.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not saying if it's all based on appearances. The reason they chose Bret is because he didn't look like he was on steroids.
How tall is Shamrock?
He's like 5'8", 5'9", I want to say.
See, Shamrock had legitimate. Okay. Ken Shamrock. How tall is he? 6'1", okay.
I don't think he's that tall.
About Bret's height.
He doesn't look that tall.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I have no indication that he was ever on any stuff, but I'm just saying if it's all based on appearances, he was jacked.
You think he looks so much different, his body, than Bret Hart?
Yeah.
Ken Shamrock, 1997 WWF.
Yeah, he was way more jacked than Bret ever was.
Man, I don't know, dude. I think he was just shredded. Boy, he's bigger than I thought he was.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, he was jacked.
All right. Oh, man. Yeah, look at that. Boy. I swear I remembered him like more shredded than jacked.
No, he was jacked.
Wow. Like cut, I mean.
No, he was always pretty muscular.
Interesting. Anyways, moving on.
4.
Number 4.
4.
Oh, God.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, God.
No.
Chris Benoit. Oh, this is scary. So, really, he could be like at the top of this list for worst people.
Yeah.
Who are really good wrestlers.
Yeah, he would probably top that list.
But we're talking strictly here. When we do his math, obviously, it's going to skew way down.
Yeah, legacy is going to be massively affected.
Legacy is literally going to take away. It's going to be in the negatives. This is a first.
Yeah, 0 legacy. Let's write that down now.
Dude, we're going to go into the negatives. It's like -3 legacy. It's beyond 0.
All right.
It's -3, dude. It's going to literally take away. All right. So, but man, when he was alive and he hadn't killed people yet, he was so much fun to watch in the ring. This is when I go back to what you were talking about earlier in the episode, when somebody is in a story and they're kind of the weakest link in the story.
Yeah.
I'm referring specifically to Triple H,
HBK, Benoit, right? Yes.
Yeah. You got Triple H and HBK, who are great character guys. And then you have Benoit, who everybody loves because he's Benoit, and he was in WCW, and he's a workhorse.
He was a workhorse, and he could do intense really well in the ring.
He did intense better than anybody.
Yeah.
Like, if this was top 10 intense wrestlers, he'd be number one easily.
Yeah.
Who'd be number 2 on that list?
Ken Shamrock.
Is Brock intense?
Well, when he wants to be.
Brock could be anything.
When he had pyro and did this, it seemed like he's more intense than just when he does this.
Who's more intense, Brock Lesnar or Brock Lesnar guy?
Brock Lesnar guy.
He's pretty intense.
He is pretty intense.
I haven't seen him lately.
He showed up within the last month.
Did he?
I think so.
Wow, okay.
Might have been at Elimination Chamber. Anyways, Benoit, I believe, was a huge Dynamite Kid fan.
I can see
In fact, during his run in Japan, his name was the Pegasus Kid.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And I think he did the flying headbutt like Dynamite Kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the ring, especially in his WCW days, when I first got to WCW, I was like, wow, who is this guy?
Oh, man, yeah.
He had some blistering chops.
His nickname, the Rabid Wolverine, was so apropos. Mm-hmm. It made it was like, oh, yeah, that's what I feel like the man version of a Rabid Wolverine would be like. Mm-hmm. Like that. Yeah. Never needed to hear him talk. It was always weird to see him in dress shirts whenever they would do like a ceremony or a celebration.
I know.
Or Ric Flair was coming back or whatever.
Or having a birthday.
And he would be in a dress shirt with his mullet. It didn't make sense. It was like, nah, he should always be.
He should always just be no shirt on.
He should always be like, I was going to say have blood on him, but that's kind of inappropriate. But yeah, when he got on the mic, like he had intensity on the mic, but again, there was just something sort of lacking.
You didn't feel comfortable. It didn't seem like he felt comfortable in that situation,
Right, yeah. No, I misheard. I thought you said you're not comfortable when you hear him on the mic. And I'm like, yeah, I was never comfortable when he was on the mic. It was kind of scary too. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. That was a weird situation. That just really seemed like an intense guy.
Yeah.
And then it just sort of carried out to its logical conclusion. Just way too much intensity.
Way too much intensity, I guess.
Let's just do the math.
Let's do the math. In ring.
This is going to be iconic, right? This math right here. People are probably really curious about this Benoit math.
Yeah, no, I think you've been asked about it before.
I mean, in ring an 8.
Yeah, 8.
Dude, he was great.
He was really good. Promo.
2. He could talk.
Look.
It's like what do we give Dynamite Kid for a look?
4.
Yeah, it's same. I'd give him same.
He had a really good nickname though. Benoit did.
Where do you put that?
Wolverine. That's kind of in look and packaging, wouldn't you say?
Give him a 5.
I'll give him a 5
Give
for
him a
look.
5.
No, I'll do 4.
Doesn't matter. It's going to be a terrible trash score.
So 4 plus. Is that right? Yeah, 4 plus for being good. Minus 3. Kayfabe. I mean, he was booked relatively strong. He won a lot of titles.
Yeah, he's 7 kayfabe.
7 kayfabe. So 11. Then minus 3 is 8 divided by 3. That's a 2 plus. But if he hadn't did what he did, and continued wrestling, Legacy could be a 6 or a 7.
Legacy. Okay, well, what is the difference then? Let's put that just really quick.
He would be a 6. If it was 7 Legacy, he would be a 6 wrestler.
That makes totally sense. That makes total sense. He's like a Bret Hart level guy.
Yeah.
But he did what he did, and he's a 2 plus. So I'm sorry. I know. Look, save your comment. If you want to comment, why are you saying this about what he did outside the ring? Because it's
part of his legacy.
Part of his legacy.
It's defining part of his legacy.
Yes. Like, look, that's a scary ass picture just because I know what he did. Look at that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Terrifying. It's horrible. 2 plus.
I mean, when you think of Chris Benoit, what's the first thing that pops in your head?
Murder.
That's his legacy.
Horrible. Let's move on. This is freaking me out. Number 3. Oh, Dan Severn.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, dun. Hey.
That was his theme song in WWE. See, if you scroll up on that picture, scroll up a little bit.
I wonder if the washing machine thing would work here.
Oh, definitely. He's got a bunch of belts. See, look at all those belts.
Oh, look at all these belts.
So he has his UFC belts. He has, I think, the NWA belt. He was NWA champion for 4 years.
That's a UFC one right there.
Okay, yeah, he's got a bunch of UFC belts from 95 to 99.
Yeah.
He's one of the most decorated mixed martial artists in the early days. I'm pretty sure he can still kick most people's asses.
Oh, my God, yeah.
In his 50s or maybe 60s. I don't know how old he is. He's like a legit tough guy.
He's pushing 60.
He was in WWE for a little bit. Didn't make much of an impact. Remember one time he talked, and he had the voice of like an accountant.
Yeah.
It's kind of high-pitched.
Yeah.
He was having plain speaking voice.
He's 64.
Yeah, man.
God, look at he still looks like a... Oh, man.
He looks the exact same.
Dude.
He was in Matt Riddle's Bloodsport last Mania weekend.
Oh, my gosh. So good.
He's an MMA legend, highly decorated wrestling champion, at least outside of WWF, WWE. But he just couldn't drop a promo.
Yeah.
Even having him with Jim Cornette, who can drop a promo, couldn't get him over. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a bummer.
Is Cornette the guy to put him with, though? He's such a jokey joke.
He is, but given Cornette's history with the NWA, having him show up with the NWA champion, I mean, at the time, I really didn't recognize it because I didn't know a ton about the NWA.
Sure.
Because growing up, for me, WWF equaled wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
But looking back on it, I can see Vince's mindset. Because the same thing with Jeff Jarrett.
Mm-hmm.
When Jeff Jarrett showed up, they put him with Jim Cornette because of Cornette's, I'm sure, history working the NWA territories.
Who else? I'm trying to think who else could they have put him with. They should have put him with Colonel Parker.
Well, he went to WCW, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think Colonel Parker ever showed up in WWF.
I know, but he's just so goofy.
But like in the Attitude Era, I don't know in terms of managers who they could have put him with because it was still Vince seemingly still had the mindset in 98, 99 in terms of managers. Like, well, we have our set of managers here we can pull from to match up with guys.
God damn. He just wrestled in 2000. So this is just his MMA record.
Oh, all right.
He fought in 2012. That was 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he won against somebody named Alex Roseman.
I'm telling you, man.
7 years ago, he would have been 57.
Legit.
Gee, Willikers.
Legit.
Wowie, wow. Yeah, no, Dan Severn, man. I was very impressed when he came out because he had all those titles. He would wear that gray cutoff sweater. Mm-hmm. And that was always sweaty.
Yeah, and he had the towel around his neck.
He had the towel around his neck. He's like, dude, this guy's going to beat some people up.
And then he had his trunks.
Yeah.
And he ambled in the ring with Jim Cornette. And he would show off just, I'm sure, a fraction of his immense wrestling ability. Mm-hmm. And then whenever he was forced to drop a promo, all the mystique was gone.
You think he took wrestling too seriously? I don't think a personality like his and Vince McMahon's really mesh really well.
Well, I mean, considering what we said about the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, he was going to try to win.
He was going to win the Rumble because he didn't like his booking.
Yeah.
So I think he kind of took things a little bit too seriously.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, I'm not going to tell him that.
But to his credit, no, God, no. Lock that door. But to his credit, he didn't stick around very long.
Yeah, he didn't do
How
that.
How do you become NWA champion, though, if you're like, I mean, did he like threaten to beat up like the bookers or something? Because like, so with that kind of attitude in pro wrestling, you're not going to get very far.
Well, I think it was less an attitude of like, pro wrestling's fake choreographed. Screw this. It was more like, I'm here. I've done all this stuff in UFC. I've had this NWA title for 4 years, and I'm not doing anything.
That was a great T-shirt, not a sweater.
Yeah. I think it was more of an expression of frustration as opposed to...
Plus, when you're dealing with bookers in the NWA, they're a bit more old school. So it's like old-timey wrestling. Mm-hmm. Gee, Willikers. Look at that. I think that's from 2012. That looks... Man,
legit.
That's crazy.
I think he's still training people, too.
I wish I knew what this is from.
Yeah, I don't know.
Man, that's terrifying. Look at him.
I know, man. Anyways, let's do some Dan Severn math.
All right.
In ring. I'm sure it could be pretty high. His sample size in WWF was so small, though.
Yeah.
It wasn't around very long.
I'd give him a 6, man. He had all those titles.
Promo. 1.
Yeah, 1, dude. It was terrible.
Look.
Like, promo took away from him because I hear him and I'm like, man, he sounds like a substitute teacher.
Yeah, no.
But not like a cool one.
No. Look.
It's both great and very nondescript.
So that by definition, that's a 5.
It's a 5.
That's a 5.
Yeah.
Somehow Dan Severn has a higher score in his look than Chris Benoit does.
Because look, you know why? Because look at this. Look at that.
Yeah, he's got the sweaty
Some
T-shirt.
dude comes out with a bunch of titles.
Yeah, man, that's impressive.
And he's got that mustache. God, that's like...
He had a really good theme, too.
Yeah,
and that's part of it.
Yeah.
Legacy. As a pro wrestler, is complex.
Oh, look, he's smiling right there.
Oh, wow. It's a bit complex because most of his legacy in terms of wrestling is not in WWE.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Yeah. Legacy, people seem to like him. He didn't kill anybody.
He didn't win that Rumble.
I'd give him like a 5.
Yeah,
I'd give him like a
legacy
5.
Seems fair. Kayfabe, if we're just talking NWA, that's like an 8.
But
WWE, he didn't win anything.
Yeah.
So I'll give him a 5 or a 6.
Give him a 6. He's got a lot of titles.
He does have a lot of titles, but most of those are shoot titles, man. He's 5.
That makes sense. I was worried he was going to get a 6, but the math knew best.
Mm-hmm. Higher in Shamrock. Because of kayfabe, pretty much.
Yeah, we might have put Shamrock's kayfabe a little low. We only gave Shamrock a 4 kayfabe?
Here, let's do a 5 then.
Adjust that to a 6. He was IC champion and king of the ring, dude.
All right, 6. At 6, that's... he's 5 then.
Get him up to a 5. See, Matt doesn't lie.
Doesn't lie. All right.
Moving on. Number 2.
2.
Dean Malenko.
Man, just one of the best wrestlers.
I could watch him wrestle all day
Man, have 1,000 holds.
And he really did have 1,000 holds.
Yeah, man. He was a phenomenal wrestler.
But then remember when he had a feud with Jericho and you couldn't give a shit about Dean Malenko at that point because Jericho was so charismatic?
Yeah. Yeah.
You enjoyed Jericho humiliating him? Because
at least in WCW, they tried to book him to his strength. They called him the Iceman. He didn't talk.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
But there's a ceiling to that.
Right. That goes so far.
Because when he did talk, you're like, oh, man, don't talk.
Yeah, like he was grounding me.
At least he had a good voice. It was gravelly and deep.
Gravelly, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was probably like 27.
Yeah. Early 30s at least. But they were like really deep, gravelly voice.
How old was Dean Malenko in 1997?
I'm thinking his early 30s, maybe mid-30s.
He certainly came off like it. Dean the Dream, Dean Malenko, 1960.
37.
Late 30s.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Gee whiz. That made sense.
Yeah. He had a great voice.
Yeah, he did have a great voice. No wonder he was around there with all those. Well, that's an interesting situation. You're like the same age as the WWF veterans. Like, when was Macho Man born? Like just a couple years before that, I think.
Oh, I think he was at least 5 to 7 years older. He was already in his mid-40s by then, probably. Macho Man.
He was born 50, same as my dad, 52.
So he's 8 years older.
Wow.
So he had mid-40s.
How old is Benoit?
I think he was younger. I think he was early 30s in WCW.
Born in so he was 7 years younger.
All right, then
Malenko. And Jericho was a pup.
Mm-hmm.
He was probably born.
Mysterio was super young.
I guess my driving point was this: you're in a cruiserweight division with a bunch of guys who are like, it's like Trent Seven now. It's like he's there with like a bunch of pups.
Yeah,
and then there's him, and then the guys who are your age who you can kind of relate to are like like the veterans who are never going to give you a shot.
Mm-hmm.
They're never going to let you get higher than where you are.
Yeah.
That's got to be a weird thing.
Yeah, a bit.
I don't know why I brought that up.
No, either.
It's kind of interesting.
Hell of a ring technician though.
Oh man, and I think he's still a producer with WWE.
Yeah, he is. He shows up every now and again.
Yeah, every once in a while Malenko will show up. And it's funny because they more often than not, and I wonder if this is for a reason. I wonder if when you see Finlay, Adam Pearce, and Jamie Noble, it's kind of like, oh, cool. When you see Malenko, you're like, oh, it's Malenko. I want to see him wrestle.
It's like when Arn would show up from time to time.
Yeah.
When Arn showed up, like, oh, Arn.
Yeah. And like Finley's almost there, but not really.
I know.
With Malenko, it's like, oh, it's Malenko. Because everybody loves him.
Yeah.
But when he talked, you just didn't care at all.
Yeah.
Let's do some Malenko math.
Malenko math. In ring. 8.
Mathlenko.
8 in the ring.
8, dude. He was a PWI 1997 Wrestler of the Year, which is still weird.
Promo. He did have a really good voice.
Give him like a 4. 3.
Look. His packaging was good. His nickname was good. He just looked like a normal dude.
Yeah, man. Not,
4.
All right, 4.
All right, 3.
No, 4's good.
All right.
Because you're almost average there.
That's 5.
Yeah.
Legacy. He's well respected.
He is. He's got a strong legacy, but it's not like,
So it's like 5.
Yeah, 5. 5's good.
Kayfabe, he did win some titles. He was WCW Cruiserweight champ, I believe. He was light heavyweight champ at WWF.
Yeah, he was the ruler of that particular kingdom. Give him a 6.
6, okay. 5+.
Yeah, that makes sense. Bret's a level ahead of him.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
He's right there with Severn and Shamrock.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That totally makes sense. See?
Yeah, he's in the same ballpark as Ricky Steamboat.
Yeah.
And Dynamite Kid.
That makes
Jerry
sense.
Lynn.
It's a good company to be in.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. All right, last one.
Number 1. John Morrison.
Or Johnny Mundo or Johnny Impact.
Impact Morrison.
Dude has all the in-ring talent in the world. He's got a great look.
Yeah.
He just can't deliver a promo.
And on top of that, so you're right. He totally can't. Like, some of his Impact promos are just cringy as heck. He always has the same voice. I want to go out there and he's always got the same voice. Part of his thing also his thing just hasn't aged well. Like the bell bottoms and the long flowing hair, you need to adapt and change. Look, he's got a great career. He's got a really good career. Mm-hmm. But man, when you go to like his general packaging, it's still 2007.
Yeah, no.
And you know, for me to care, for me to be like, oh, cool, he's Impact champion, you got to give me a little bit more than that, dude. You got to show me that you're changing things up. I mean, that's a great thing about Chris Jericho, who's easily a 7+ wrestler.
Oh, easily, yeah.
You know, I mean, he's probably teetering on 8. The thing about Chris Jericho is that he changes himself all the time.
We've done Jericho math.
Oh, we've done Jericho math. We did. Bobby Mincy asked us to do it. He said he was going to break the scale.
Oh, that's right.
Wait, was that Jericho?
I don't remember. Let's do it again real quick. Ring. That's
no, that was I forget who it was.
Ring 8. Promo's got to be at least an 8.
Yeah, that's an 8 promo.
Look.
It was like a 6 look.
6, yeah, it's like 6 or 7, but I'll go 6. The jacket was iconic. Legacy, at least an 8.
You think that's an 8 legacy?
His legacy is, especially after he's done with all his All Elite wrestling stuff, it's going to be massive, man.
Yeah, right. 8 legacy.
8 legacy. He's won basically every title you can win. His first undisputed champion.
Okay, but here's the thing. With kayfabe, do we count the fact that he was booked as a chicken shit heel?
No.
No, really? I thought we did.
No. Well, you tried to. I don't think that matters. I think winning is winning.
Boy, he's won a lot of titles.
It's got to be at least an 8 kayfabe.
Give him an 8 kayfabe.
I think he's going to be a 7+ too, man. He could easily be a 9 promo. He is a great promo.
Give him a 9 promo.
So 17, 23, that's 7+. He's just barely under an 8.
Like you got to round up to an 8 at that point.
7++.
He's pushing Savage. He's pushing Savage territory.
Yeah, he is.
Right now, the Mount Rushmore is Cena, Savage, Jericho. Mm-hmm. That's a good Mount Rushmore.
It really is.
Yeah, that's a good Mount Rushmore. You know what I should do? We should figure out who's the 4th Mount Rushmore, and then I'll do a print.
There you go.
Of their faces.
I still think Flair should be in the 4th. He would.
But I won't draw them very good.
Yeah.
So that we can legally do it.
Yeah.
You think who now? What?
Flair. Because in ring he's a 10, promo he's a 10. Look, it's 5 probably. So that's 8 for.
You're just doling out 10s, man.
You can argue that Flair wasn't a 10 in the ring and 10 promo.
Oof, oh boy, oh boy.
Legacy 10.
Wow.
Kayfabe 10 or 8 if you want to knock him for being a cowardly heel for part of his career.
Yeah, he was a cowardly heel.
So that'd be 8 plus.
Because here's the thing: when you win a lot of titles, you lose a lot of titles.
Yeah, he's 8+. Flair would be. That's 8+ for Flair.
Here's the thing. You know why Cena has a 10 for kayfabe? Because Lul Cena wins. Yeah. You could never say Lul Flair wins. That's why Flair doesn't have high kayfabe.
That's why I didn't give him a 10. I gave him an 8.
Like 7.
16-time world champion means something.
Which means he lost a lot of times.
But that means continually when they wanted to put the belt on someone who dropped money, we can put it on Flair.
7 kayfabe is really strong.
Nothing less than 8.
You're insane.
No, I'm not.
If Cena's a 10 because Lul Cena wins, Triple H is like a 9.
Okay.
Well,
how can he use the Flair logic and not use the same thing against Cena or Triple H? Because they dropped the belts just as many times, basically.
Listen. Triple H is synonymous with you put him in there, he's going to win. Cena is synonymous with you put him in. He's synonymous with he's going to win.
That's because he cheated to win. You're going to knock him for that. That's part of the story being told in the ring.
A lot of that wasn't in the WWF, anyways.
Oh, like that's all that matters. Get out of here with that.
I think it's a 7 kayfabe.
No, it's 8.
7's really good, you know.
Yeah,
you understand it's really good.
8 for Flair for kayfabe.
Okay, so if we do 8 Flair kayfabe,
he's an 8+. It's an 8+ because he's getting knocked for a look.
All right, so he's up there with Savage.
Yeah.
So is that our Mount Rushmore?
Yeah.
Flair, Cena, Savage, Jericho. Wow, that's a good Mount Rushmore.
Good 4.
As long as Cena stays number 1, that's all I care about.
Man, oh my gosh.
Hey man.
Anyways, we're getting off track. We'll be talking about John Morrison here.
Yeah,
Johnny Mundo. Johnny
Impact. that's the impact that John Morrison has.
I know.
Is that you just want to talk about somebody else.
It's a shame because he has like the best combo of signature and finisher in the business. Spanish Fly, Starship Pain.
Here's the crazy thing about John Morrison. You're right. He's like one of the best wrestlers out there, and he has been for a very long time. But because everything else has literally stayed the same, I've never in my heart been like, man, I'd love to see him come back to WWF. I'm sure WWE, I'm sure he could have a terrific run there these days, because I just don't see it. I don't really see it.
I don't either.
You know, take a look at his contemporary, Kofi Kingston. What did Kofi do? He got with a New Day and completely transformed what his previous thing was, you know? And now people want him to win because it's like, oh man, he's had basically a whole second career because he changed things up. And now people want to see him in the world. John Morrison never changed anything up. And on top of that, like, he was never, like, it just seems like he's relying on that same thing because he can't bring anything else to the table.
That could be.
Terrific wrestler.
Awesome wrestler.
Terrific wrestler.
All right, let's do some math on John Morrison.
All right.
In ring. 7? He's really good, but I don't know if he's had any iconic matches.
Yeah, 7.
7.
He's like a step above Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah. Promo. 1.
I remember one time, I forget which Impact pay-per-view it was, but I got it. And
this is Bound for Glory. This is Bound for Glory promo.
Maybe because he talked about his dad and breakfast.
I think it was Bound for Glory.
And the interviewer seemed so confused, and everybody was so confused. And honestly, when you can illustrate why scripted promos are a good thing, then you know you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. Look. It's dated. But
like if it was 2007, it'd be like a
7.
7 look. But it's 2019 now, man. Come on, update your shit.
It's a 5.
Cut your hair or something. He's a good-looking guy.
He's a great looking.
Cut your hair.
Like this whole look, like his hair looks great. He's jacked.
Yeah.
I mean, his pants are bell bottoms and they're kind of fuzzy.
When you have a bunch of crucifix, like a bunch of crosses on your pants and they're bell bottoms, no, man, no.
Let's do 5.
5 is good.
It could be 6.
It could have been a set. Update your stuff, man. I know it's costly.
Yeah. Legacy. I mean, I think he's respected in terms of high flying stuff, but I don't know if he's.
Is it anywhere even near? I mean, is it past a 5?
No, I was gonna say a 4.
Okay, 4.
Kayfabe. I mean, he's won titles everywhere.
Yeah.
5 or 6.
But maybe? Did you ever think of him as like, man, they booked this guy strong?
No. 5 or 6.
6, I guess. He has won a lot of titles. He was booked strong with The Miz.
Yeah. So that's 14 divided by 3. That is 4+.
Really? He's only a 4+?
Mm-hmm.
Again, you know why? Because it's not 2007.
Mm-hmm. If he'd done Morrison in 2007, it could be completely different. Or 2010. 2011 when he was in the title picture.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds right.
Anyways, math doesn't lie, I guess.
Look, here's the thing. The math doesn't lie. Cena's number 1. Then you got
We did Eddie Guerrero, right?
Yeah,
we did Eddie, but I can't. Yeah. Oh, maybe that's who Bobby Mincy wanted us to do.
No. He said somebody would tip the scales. It wasn't Jericho. It was somebody else, and I was like, what the heck are you talking about? I forgot who it was. It wasn't Jarrett.
Oh, maybe it was because of kayfabe. Thought it'd be really high because he won all those belts in USWA.
No, I don't think it was. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Here's an ad for our Patreon, and until next time, we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Be a part of Going In Raw today at patreon.com/Steven Larson. Starting at $1 a month, you can enjoy Going In Raw ad-free, gain access to the daily 30-minute Going In Raw post show, exclusive merchandise, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description.